Hey guys, James here. Death Bell came out with an episode Monday. Lex Luthor versus Doctor Doom. So far, in my opinion on it, is that it is just okay. It is definitely the weakest of the season so far, but we're only 3 episodes in, and it has tough competition already. So, yeah, it was okay of an episode. My opinion probably will differ later on. I have music playing on the background, obviously. I have Apex of Doom. I just have, like, the score and then some music. But the next episode is going to be Heihachi versus Geese. Tekken versus King of Fighters. And I'm glad these series are returning. We haven't had Tekken since Season 5 with Ryu versus Jin. And we haven't had King of Fighters since Season 3 with Terry versus Ken. Or Ken versus Terry. One of the most forgettable episodes in the show. And even before that, the last episode was Season 1 with Chun-Li versus... who the fuck was it? Someone. I don't remember her name. It was a very forgettable episode as well for that. Like, the King of Fighters episodes were forgettable episodes, and then the Tekken episode, it was the weakest of the season, at least in my opinion. I found it to be the weakest of the season. Again, it had high competition, being the Season 5 episode, but there really wasn't much for me to go back to for that one comparison, and it was most forgettable, bland for me. But we are having these franchises back with Heihachi versus Geese, a matchup I know very little about on. Yeah. I did a quick look on the Death Battle wiki, and from what is said in, like, trivia, the connections are that they are both terrible fathers that are rich and own company, like, tournaments, fighting tournaments. They both use powers with electricity, and what the fuck else was there? I have it right here. And also power-hungry businessmen. That seems to be connection. I have a thing on my phone. And that seems to be the connections. The only one I knew was that they were the main antagonists of the respective franchises, Tekken and King of Fighters. That's all I really know about the characters before the episode's out. I did a quick look on the Versus Battle Wiki to see where these two scale to, and Heihachi went to, what was it, like, Heihachi is at continent level, while Geese is only at small city level. Right, was that it? Yeah, small city level. So, with my very little knowledge, I'm going to assume that Heihachi wins, which I don't mind. I honestly don't mind that. Tekken has only been in 1 episode, and it was in loss, while King of Fighters has been in 2 episodes, and they won both. So, I don't want to see Tekken go the route with Soul Calibur and have only losses. I want to see them have wins. So hopefully this will be the case where we have a win. This was okay, this is the first episode of the season where we did not know any of these fighters were going to be in the season. We're 4 episodes in. I find that weird. I just find that weird personally. Like, hey, we're 4 episodes in. Here are characters that we had no idea were going to be in the season. Now, this was an episode I saw thrown around a little bit, like, oh, this might happen this season. It was just thrown around a little bit. I didn't really think, like, oh, this will be happening this season. Because it's not a matchup I hear too much about. From what I could tell, it is a decently long time requested episode. And that's, I don't know. It's decently popular, so it probably has been requested for a good few years now. And I think the Mecha Goose that was introduced in the Mechazord, what was that again? Dragon Zord versus Mechagodzilla. Because in the Mecha Goose in fucking Mechagodzilla's analysis that Wiz made, it was a robot goose with 2 heads. It made an appearance in everyone's favorite and most memorable episode of Season 7, Black Canary vs. Sindel. It made an appearance in that in Black Canary's analysis, and Boomstick referred to it as Mecha Goose Howard. Geese's name is Geese Howard. So Mecha Goose might have a part on why we're doing it, why this episode's happening this season. But that Black Canary versus Sindel might have been hinting at this episode going to be happening next season. Or at least soon, which I kind of find funny. It probably isn't. I'm just looking too deep into it, and it was a joke, but fucking still. And I don't know much else of the history with this matchup. But with actual predictions for the matchup, my knowledge on these is very limited, but, okay, this is what I think would be cool. The fight starts out in a tournament, and, like, it eventually leads out to them fighting, like, on a cliff, and they both fall down the cliff, or the winner chucks the loser off the cliff, and they die by landing on, like, getting impaled through the chest or something by a stone or whatever. I don't know that part, but... And, like, the winner is the one standing atop the cliff. Or the loser... Or, like, if they both fall down the cliff, they're fighting each other before making it to the bottom. And then the winner, like the winner just chucks the loser down onto the ground and stomps in their head. And being declaring their victory. I think that would be cool. The tournament is because they both own fighting tournaments, and the cliff is because in Tekken, this is just going by a video I saw, like a little parody video. Like Heihachi threw his son Jin off a cliff. So, like when he was a baby, for him to survive and climb back up. That's as far as I know. Again, this is from a parody episode, so, like a parody video, so this might not even actually be the case. But I just find that interesting, if that's actually the case within, like, the Tekken story. I've never played Tekken. I know nothing about the series except for Jin. So, I think that would be interesting to see, like, that's how the fight goes. And I could see it be either Sprite or 3D. Preferably 3D. I know that back in Tekken 7, I think, there was DLC for Geese to be in it. So, I think that could work. And the 1-minute melee version of this, the sprite, meh, it was okay, I guess. I wasn't that big of a fan of fucking, Heihachi sprite. It looked weird to me. I don't know. The sprite just looked a little odd, in my opinion. So, I'd rather see it in 3D. Also, kind of reference, Ryu vs. Jin, since that episode was 3D and aired in their earlier, milestone season, Season 5. Because that was, like, when they reached their 100th episode. So, yeah, I think that would be interesting. I don't have any ideas for, like, a score, but I can see it possibly being a lyrical score. Probably not. I don't think it'll be a lyric score, but it would be interesting to see it, kind of like Ryu vs. Jin. I hope they make well, I feel like the Mecha Goose should return in Geese's analysis. And, like, maybe they make a joke about his name being Geese, since they did that in Ken vs. Terry, like Goose, Geese. I feel like that'd be funny. I don't have much else predictions. This is a very short one, because I don't have anything to rant about. This is honestly a solid matchup, from what I can tell, and I'm honestly interested, despite not knowing shit about these characters. I have a fucking list of shit I posted on the Amino, and a lot of it, it's just me saying random shit, like, I don't even know. But I have a feeling this has the potential to be a very solid episode, and I hope to God it pulls King of Fighters out of having very bland episodes. Like, Jesus Christ. I hope it gives Tekken a more noticeable episode and a victory. Which it should, from what I hear. From what I hear, Heihachi wins. And doing the versus battle, look, he probably does. I don't know. I'm assuming he does. But I'm rooting and betting I'm gonna root and bet for Heihachi. Rooting is just because I want Tekken to have a win and not have a fucking losing streak, 0 wins. And at the same time, he looks better in my opinion. He looks cooler. I don't know. I know a tad bit more about him than I do of Geese. Because, like I said, the Tekken fights are... Not Tekken, though. The King of Fire fights are very forgettable in comparison to the show. Like, Ryu vs. Jin, not the most memorable episode, but it's decent. It's a decent episode. It's okay. And it ranges from meh to okay. It's slightly lower, probably the weakest season episode of the season, but still. That's kind of all I have to predict about this one. I think that it might be in 3D, preferably in 3D, but I'm fine with it in Sprite. I think that the fight might start in like in a tournament, leading to a cliff, and the loser will die somewhere in the fucking cliff, whether chucked off or the head stomped at the bottom of it as they fight. I think that Mecha Goose Howard will return, probably in Geese's analysis. And, yeah. Not much else to really predict, so I'll be enjoying my useless opinion. Probably not creative in the slightest, but what you gonna do? But yeah. I'm excited for this episode, and I'm excited to learn about these characters and see these franchises return to Death Battle after being absent for years now. Yeah. Anyways,